Touch one. One Africa. One Africa. One nation. That's what it's about. Welcome to our Sunday rallies. Aquaba in Kiswahili means welcome. We're located here at 4101 West Florissant in St. Louis, Missouri. We're right here on the corner of West Florissant and Alice. We start at 3 o'clock every Sunday. And I want to appreciate those of you who are on live, Facebook and YouTube, for viewing in as always and keeping our subscription and our membership going. We want to thank you for that. Today's rally is focused on African women. We know that this being International or African or Women's Month, today our theme is African women building Black power. So in today's rally, we're going to hear from some institutions within the Uhuru movement who are on the ground practically building Black power. And so before we go a little bit further into the program, we're going to have our African Nation fight song. You will see the words on the board and you can follow along with that. But just to remind you, each week these Sunday rallies are brought to you by the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, which was founded in 1991, with our motto being bread, peace, and Black power, and meeting people on their doorsteps. So you can also go to InPDUM.org. If you need more information, you can go there to join, to read about the institution, and also donate. Next is our African Nation fight song. Once again, you will see the lyrics on the screen. Please stand and sing along with us. Uhuru.
Africa, we
are
winning. Shout Uhuru for our freedom. We are winning. We'll dance and sing songs when revolution's won. We are winning. Africa's best daughters and sons. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom through organization. Socialist world of creation. 1 billion strong. Yes, we are one. We are winning. Red, black, and green for you and me. We are winning. Won't stop the fight till we are free. We are winning. African workers, we must unite. We are winning. Against white power, the parasite. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Patrice Lumumba's life won't be in vain. We are winning. Keep up the work in Marcus Garvey's name. We are winning. Independent and free is what we will be. We are winning. Africa will bask in our victory. We are winning. One billion strong, yes, we are one. We
That's right. That's right. He's related to. All right, Uhuru. So moving the program forward, comrades. Next on our agenda, and once again, this is a special Sunday rally, as all of them. But this week we are addressing the issue of women, and the theme is Black women building Black power. And they're doing that in our lifetime. So, but before we go further with the program in terms of that, the theme we have, political and education, who will be brought to you today by Conrad Westbrook, who will be reading from the 14 points of the 14-point platform.
Uhuru. Westbrook, first of all, I want to give a salute and acknowledgement to our leadership, Chairman Mali Yeshitela and DC owners and Yeshitela, and also our president, Dr. Odom. Today, in the 14-point platform of the African People Revolutionary Party, we will be dealing with point number 8. Uhuru?
Uhuru.
We want the immediate withdrawal of the U.S. police from our oppressed and exploited community. Uhuru. I love how that sounds, so I'm just going to double back and repeat it. We want the immediate withdrawal of the U.S. police from our oppressed and exploited community.
That's right.
Say it again.
We want the immediate withdrawal of the U.S. police from our oppressed, exploited community now.
That's what we're Uhuru.
We believe that the various U.S. police agencies which occupied our communities are arms of the U.S. colonial state, which is responsible for keeping our people enslaved and terrorized. We believe that the U.S. police agencies do not serve us, instead represent the first lines of U.S. defense against the just struggles of our people for peace, dignity, and socialist democracy. Therefore, we believe that the U.S. police are an illegitimate standing army, a colonial army, in the African community, and must withdraw immediately from our community to be replaced by our liberation force who struggles in our defense of our communities and against our oppression, demonstrate their loyalty and their willingness to serve in our interests.
Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru. Once again, I can't echo this point. I can't echo this enough. The U.S. police must withdraw from African communities now. We understand that all policemen in our community is of the colonial state, and they are there to keep the status quo. They are there to keep us oppressed. And we can look up and we can see these things with the state control. I mean, I'm not the one that believe this make-believe statistics, but even your mayor say the crimes in St. Louis is going down, and et cetera. But why is state is homed on to taking control, which they did. They physically took control. Because they don't want us to have no type of interest in our own community. They want we know all cops, not just a lot of folks in St. Louis, separate the county cops from the city cops. The city cops is cooler. You got to watch it with county municipalities. They this, that, and another. All the police, all the police is the U.S. front against our community. They is a colonial. Cannot bypass that. We cannot do that. The county police is worse of slave masters than the what's called police. And I'm not gonna stunt. I used to be one of those cats. You know, but I'm not gonna lie. State, I think, taking control got to make me get my shit together. You know what I'm talking about? But I used to be the one. As long as I'm in the city boundaries, and I go not that far in the city. I'm not that far in the county. I'm safe. I used to be the dummy that say the city is cool. They only look for the big boy drugs. They ain't tripping off nothing small. No, it's political. Not that's the ones you deem cool.
Right. If you do that.
Number one, the U.S. police do not serve us. They do not first serve us. That is the first, like I said, defense is to block our liberation, our socialist democracy. That's their first intention, is to protect the status quo. They is a standing colonial army.
That's what it is.
And it must be replaced by a liberation force. Chairman was speaking about the Black People's Convention coming up in July, I believe July 13th. And we speaking about different workshops that's going to be going on, but one of the workshops is going to be dealing with how are we going to protect our community? How are we going to serve the interests of our people? How are we going to serve the interests of our people? Just like Chairman said last week, that this is more than a piece of paper. This is theory, how theory look like when we practice it. This is theory, and we practice this. But that being said, we're gonna start building a campaign about fight back and forth this state control over our. Some folks look at how minor they look at it as minute. Some folks haven't grew up in St. Louis or don't remember before a city took over. Or we put the people put the initiative in it. But 2012 beyond, or 2011 and before that, we remember the harassment from the city policemen, the folks that didn't stay in our communities, came in our communities and policed us with iron fists. We remember that. For decades, the city did, or force policing did like the county policemen. We witnessed that. It was the peoples that say, you know what, we want local control, and the peoples voted for local control. But as we see that the state overridden that, the people vote. But that don't mean it's over. We gonna look into how to put the initiative back on the ballot to bring local control back over the policemen, but how we want it to look like, not how they want it to look like. But make a long story short, we want the immediate withdrawal of the United States Police from our oppressed, exploited community. Uhuru? I think I belabored that point a little bit too long, so we're gonna go right into the answers, the questions. We believe, number one, we believe that the problem with police is a few. Okay, you caught up with me? Okay. Number one, we believe that the problem with the police is a few bad apples that make a whole force look bad. B, the police have a hard job trying to catch the bad guys. C, the police need more training in race relations. Or D, the police are in arms of the U.S. colonial states and keeping Africans enslaved and terrorized. Who got the answer? Who would correct?
D.
D. You sure is right, D. And I wish I had something to pass to you, man. I think we should get that back started. It feel good to pass something to our game. We do right there, right on cue. I love our camera right on cue, she is. But we got these buttons, you know what I'm talking about? From the Black Star Industries. Either come on in and answer the question and get it for free, or come back to our tables and purchase it. Either or, you know what I'm saying? Participate. But that was number one, and I guess we'll go into question number two. The police are A, an illegitimate standing army. B, a colonial army. C, must immediately withdraw from our community. Or D, all of the above. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My man, my man. Come on, get your button, my man. There you go. Good job. Good job. Good job, Solomon. Good job. Good job. My man, Solomon. Good job. Good job. Okay. Third, but not least, last but not least, the police must be replaced with our own African Liberation Army. A. B. The Boy Scout. C. C. The Guardian Angels. Or D. The SWAT team.
Baby.
So who got the answer? The people. Who got the answer? The people must be replaced by what? I heard it. Go on, say. Don't be scared. Now you don't be scared. What is
Raise
it?
your hand. Raise your hand if you go know the answer.
There you go. There you go. What is it?
Don't be shy.
There you go. Come on, put Conrad. Get your button. Good job. Good job. Good job. So well, I appreciate the participation. Appreciate the participation within the 14-point platform, and that will conclude this week's studies. But we will go further into the next agenda, which is culture. And it's our very own brother Westbrook. So bring him on to the bike. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Uhuru. Yeah, that was a bad introduction, man. I like that. Now, today, not only, I mean, I'm doing culture, but it's not my piece. I'm honored to do our very own Kumbachi Nia. Don't that sound like a poet? Come on, say it with me. Kumbachi Nu Nita. No, you ain't supposed to say it fast. You're supposed to say it slow. Let it roll off your lips. Looking ass. But nah, today we're gonna be doing some clapping. You know, we're gonna be doing some if I got a lighter flicking, you know, but this is a poem from, like I said, our very own Conrad. And I'm honored, like I said, to say we are talented. We got a lot of talented forces in our party, you know. So I got my Bob Marley, so don't think I'm trying to burn the house down if you see me flick it. But today's piece would be Before in Africa and After. Now check this out. I hope he don't beat me up for, you know, doing my rendition of this. But before they begun, we begun. We began. We ran it. We did it. We could see it. They tried to figure it, seemed dumbfounded about it, bigger than the brightest light. Before in Africa and after we built it, we made it, we saved it. That is before in Africa and after. Uhuru, say it back. Now say South. There you go. Before in Africa and after. Prize baby made, colors of shade, purpose legacies written and arrived, torn down by the ones who weren't born. Blue blood they thought to be, but it's red as scarlet letters can be. before in Africa and after. The golden times of years. 1325, that man did arrive, and he was in the nick of time. Caravans from sea to sea, that was before. That was Africa, that is after. The line was long, songs were strong. Rhythm is the nation, and character with summation. Uhuru, Sandbag, Sasha, forgive me. That's Sasha, that gold is still all to be told. Yeah, right on. Sing that song. Now, I'm sorry, let me put a little flavor in there. I don't want him to look at me. Yeah, right on. Come on, sing that song. It's not nothing wrong to think before in Africa and after. It means we are real. We were real and will be real after that is gone. Before in Africa and after Black Power will be the plague that killing the outside host, looking like a ghost of make-believe, simply there to deceive. That is after. Alpha is 50-foot flagpole that raised the banner high. Red, black, and green for you and me. The house that black build. The soul of African people in the home for the batting and beating. Before in Africa and after. Battles in the streets. Battles in city halls. We are revolutionaries who made the call, and after keep 28 and seek to defeat the spy street. And after we beat them in their seats, we beat them in the heat. And after your witness, they have none, Your Honor. We rest our case. Exhibit 46, Exhibit 70, burning spears thrown through the place. What you say, seated in place. Liar, liar, the house is on fire, and that is before in Africa and after. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
So let's give it up for our very own Kumba Pinita. Uhuru.
Uhuru Sasa. Uhuru Sasa. One Africa. One nation. All right, that's what it's about. Next, we're going to have a clip, and it's going to be a clip that's given by Chairman, and it talks about the role of women inside of the Uhuru movement and in general. But this was just before the formation of the African National Women's Organization, which was formed in 2015. But this is going to give you just a little bit about that and to let you see where the whole question of African women has been on the forefront of the minds and involved in our movement struggle, and even grander scale in terms of being in the community at large. But here's a brief clip from Chairman Omali Yeshitela, leader of the Uhuru movement, addressing the issue of African women.
We're talking with Omali Yeshitela, if you're just tuning in and watching. Women.
Yes.
How do we see our sisters? Oftentimes in the criticism, if we were to carve out new movements today, looking back at the past, they will point and say there was a lot of marginalization, a lot of misogyny, a lot of second-classing women in our movements. Even now, as we have conversations, there are people going, "Where are the women?" You know. How does this play out? What's our responsibility as men? And is there a traditional role we're playing, or are we creating new seats and new paradigms that we haven't seen in a while?
Well, I think the main thing that has to happen is that real revolutionary organizations, real social transformation requires freedom for everybody without any limitation, without any attempt to impose what freedom should look like in that context, if it's for the whole. You understand? Right. Freedom for everybody. And this notion, backwards notion that imposed on Africa from some external forces that somehow women are lesser creatures that have to walk in the back and know their places and this stuff is bogus and backwards. And that what has to happen, and if you look at the history of our organization, you will see that throughout our history, not only have we had women leadership, but from some of our history, the majority of our leaders have been women. And this is not just in, we're talking about real power that has existed, and exists in our party right now. So that's one thing. But I want to go beyond that, because not only are we talking about women and this notion about placing limitations, I think women have to join the revolution to guarantee what the future is going to look like, so it's not left up to me and you and other people, but they're going to be able to say, this is how the future is going to be looked, because they're locked and loaded. You understand? Just like everybody else is locked and loaded.
One might say the fact that they bear kids and life and all that,
Yeah.
and a lot of times in our communities are the backbones, are the ones that are shouldering a lot of the burden, and not because it's women's work, but just the practicality of us being at war and so many brothers being carted off to jail. By default, a lot of our sisters become a part of that. One would argue that they're already a part of the revolution, and that we need to, as men, make sure that they are, that their wisdom is included in the conversation, that their ideas and perspectives are taken into account as we form, knowing that if we're in a constant state of war, which you pointed out,
Yeah.
the casualty is that many of us are locked up and our mothers and sisters and aunties are holding down the fort.
Well, that's true, but I think what I would say is that that is absolutely true. I think we have to build movements like that, but I'm saying also that women should not have to rely on my willingness or your willingness to open the door. I'm saying that women must join this revolution, and then when coming into the revolution must demand that the revolution opens up itself so that the children and all of these are factors in their participation.
Right.
And that men learn how to cook, and men learn how to wash clothes and iron and do all the other kinds of things that's necessary. And the women have to be involved in this discussion about what development is going to look like in technology, what it's going to do, because some of the things that proscribed certain kinds of participation by women in society in the past are no longer necessary. I mean, it may have been necessary based on physical strength, what women could do in terms of labor and stuff like that, but technology today, you know, that's not necessary. Right. You know, and I don't want people who, even when they're talking about how, you know, women, you know, have to do these things based on we're at war. I mean, there's some ways that you can fancy up and gussy up and dress up and romanticize this stuff that women are trapped in. I mean, you go to Africa where you see women, you know, walking for miles and miles and miles with tons, like beasts of burden, with the heads, you know, full of wood, firewood, walking miles, you know, to get wood, to cook food, walking miles to get water, not clean water, to use for food and stuff like that. This is terrible. Like, you know, women are like beasts of burden, and that stuff. We have to have revolutionary movement. That's my commitment. But women should not have to depend on my commitment. They should join in this movement to say we're gonna make sure. And when I talk about women, I'm not talking about feminism, which is the bourgeois concept that where you have, you know, some biological predetermination about, you know, what the future is going to look like in that fashion. What I'm talking about is women, the most desperate, fiendish imposition on the rights and freedom of women, African women, is imperialism. The same thing that imposes itself on the rights and freedom of African people as a whole. The same thing that's already predetermined. That women, that children, before they are born, are going to be locked up in prisons and stuffed into, you know, horrible circumstances. That's determined that the men in their lives subject to be in these prison systems and stuff like that. I mean, so imperialism is the fiend, is the enemy that the whole African revolution has to direct itself, and women in the process of fighting the struggle against imperialism must join the rest of us and help to lead us in dealing with all of the contradictions that impose itself on women that we may be playing some role in facilitating.
Uhuru. All right, give it up for Chairman. All right, today's theme once again is African Women Build Black Power. And we're going to hear from two different institutions inside of the Uhuru movement. The first one that we're going to hear from today is coming from, led locally by Comrade Fofi Akibalan, and that is she's going to give a presentation on the All African Peoples Development and Education Project that was formed, I want to say about 2006. You might know the right date. 2007. And so with that formation, it was to be the arm of the party that will go out and, as you might say, take the place of the Red Cross and do for ourselves in our name and with our interest at best heart. So Comrade Fofi will come up and give us that presentation. Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrades.
Uhuru.
Please bear with me today. Fight back.
Fight back.
Uhuru, my name is Fofi Ushayuri El Kibulon, and I am the coordinator of Project Black Unk. I want to start off by giving my honor to Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Deputy Chair Ona Zene Yeshitela, and my director, Dr. Aisha Fields. First of all, I would like to outline ABDAP, which is the All African Peoples Development and Empowerment Project, whose goal was stated by Chairman O'Malley in 2007 with 3 areas of work, which is agriculture, education, and healthcare. Project Black Unk is healthcare, which I am the international coordinator. We are to recruit African skilled workers with careers and education with skills and get them to volunteer to serve the African communities around the world, because these skills are not theirs. They belong to the world and the community that birthed them and raised them. In Project Black it has a history before I became a member. And in the history, the goal is Project Black Unk is the healthcare component of our mission. It is bringing healthcare back to the African community, putting healthcare back in the hands of the African people that use it and need it. As you know, a lot of our skills and values that was taught back to our ancestors has been removed or just tainted. Project Black Unk is committed to teach life-saving skills to underserved communities, our communities, where the distressed and difficult to find appropriate first responders arriving in a timely manner. In our neighborhood, sometimes they never show up. Experiencing these simple cures like CPR, stop the bleed, cardiac arrest, respiratory difficulties can be deadly if this not cared for in a timely manner. By teaching these skills and putting it in the hands, teaching these skills and putting it in the hands of the community, it gives a hand up to the community. This was a picture of our conference we had in 21, where we taught CPR, we taught stop the bleed, we taught bites and stings. We did cold and warm weather emergencies. Next. This is us teaching again, different arts. Next. Then we went to, how did we get the idea to take healthcare to the community? Well, we took a trip to Cuba. That was amazing. This is a picture of us in Cuba. We went there. Our goal was to learn how the Cuban people healthcare system was so important to them in their neighborhoods. Why was one neighborhood just as healthy as another? The idea is they put their doctors and their healthcare in each neighborhood. There's a doctor in the vicinity that his kids go to school with the community. His wife shop in the same areas that's in the community. Their children know community people that can call them best friends. Next, that's Comrade Aisha. This is when we were at one of the universities, the hospitals. This is Comrade Chiwo, myself, and Dr. Fields, with some of the doctors that are part of the Henry Brigade Battalion. Next. This is Project Black putting it to work. We were at the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market, where we taught blood pressures. We gave people blood pressures reading, and we gave them information to go and take it back to their doctor. We taught CPR steps, not the giving the certificates, but if we could teach the skills, you didn't need to know the certificate. The certificate be on somebody's wall, but if they don't know what they're doing, they're no good to you. Next. Next slide.
That's all.
That's it. Okay. Now, what I want to say is Project Black Unk is out to save the neighborhood, our neighborhoods that gets no assistance anywhere. Or when the assistance come, it's just to remove the body. Okay. We are here in Missouri, well, in St. Louis specifically, asthma is one of the top killers of Black people because the mold and humidity together affects your lungs. And if you can't breathe, you can't breathe. I can't breathe is real. So what I'm here to say is if you are interested, if you have talents that would assist in bringing education in the skills of healthcare, I'm Black Unk. If you have skills and talents in the case of education, that is ABDAP, and that is also agriculture. But Project Black Unk is under the umbrella of ABDAP because we want to get volunteers and members that have these skills and know if you got medical skills, then you know it's needed. So if you're interested, you can see me. And if you on here online, I want you to go to developmentforafrica.org. All right, developmentforafrica.org. Uhuru, thank you.
All right, thank you, Conrad Fofi. And so I hope you really took care to pay attention to, that's an example of preparing to govern. All the institutions that we have and the work that we're doing inside of the Uhuru movement is to help prepare for us to govern and to take state power. And at the level of health, education, and agriculture, that's key. So the next speaker that we have today is going to be Conrad Sophia, who's going to speak to the African National Women's Organization. But before then, we're going to show a brief clip from the president of the African National Organization, Conrad Yejide Omarila, and she's just going to give you a little bit about that. And after that, then we will have Conrad Sophia to continue with with the program, with her presentation. And she is local on the ground here in St. Louis.
The African National Women's Organization Liberation Center is an ambitious initiative born from the vision to transform 4617 Natural Bridge Avenue into a vibrant facility. This space, generously donated by the African People's Education and Defense Fund, will become a working-class embassy, a hub for community empowerment, and a testament to the resilience of African people. Located at the heart of North St. Louis, a community deeply affected by centuries of colonial exploitation, our mission is clear: to uplift and empower. We acknowledge the stark realities of poverty, health disparities, and violence that plague our community. Our aim is to reverse these trends and create a thriving international hub for African people. But we can't achieve this vision alone. We need your support to bring this dream to life. Your donation toward our goal of raising $60,227 will fund the comprehensive rehabilitation of the property, including crucial steps like installing kitchen and bathrooms, full electrical upgrade, installing new plumbing, repairing the roof, reinforcing decks and fencing, and transforming the front facade. Why should you donate? Because every contribution brings us one step closer to providing working-class African women with a property of their own, a place where they can heal, organize, and thrive. Why are we doing this? Because we are committed to advancing the cause of African self-determination. Our center will provide vital cultural, social, and community spaces that celebrate African people and serve as a catalyst for change. Our vision includes creative and incubator residencies to nurture talent, community childcare to support families, and a safe place site to offer refuge and support. Additionally, as the headquarters of the African National Women's Organization, the center will serve as a national and local organizing space empowering African women and femmes in our struggles against the impact of colonial capitalism. Your support can make a profound difference in our efforts to uplift African women and femmes, empowering those who have been marginalized. Join us in our mission to strengthen our community, nurture resilience, and pave the way for a brighter, more equitable future. Together, we can ensure that the flame of African self-determination burns brighter than ever before. To donate and to learn more about the project, visit bit.ly/annualcenter1.
Hello, everyone. As mentioned, I am Sophia, and I am a member of ANWO here, the African National Women's Organization here in St. Louis. And Today we're going to talk about Black women building Black power, which is what AMWO seeks to do here in St. Louis, as well as throughout our chapters throughout the country and throughout the world. Now, when you hear Black power, what tends to come to mind? Maybe we think of the Black Panther Party, or we think of bold people like Stokely Carmichael, or a powerful call to action and unity for strength. But at its core, Black power is about control of our social and political structures that affect our lives on a daily basis. It's about reclaiming what has been taken from us and ensuring that our communities are reclaiming our communities where we are the majority of the people that live there are empowered and self-sufficient. We're not looking for anyone to do anything for us. We can do it for ourselves. We just need you to leave us alone. We don't just want to survive, we want to thrive in our communities. And Black power is the pathway to making that possible. And so when you think about Black power, what is Black power? It's not just a slogan, it's actually a movement, which the Uhuru movement has started here in St. Louis, as well as throughout the world. It's about taking control of our communities. If you look around at many predominantly Black neighborhoods, you'll see the harsh effects of neglect. You'll see high crime rates, poverty, despair. You'll see businesses from outside the community coming in, setting up shop, and extracting the wealth from that area every single day. Corner stores, payday loan stores, laundromats, they all come in. They make their money. And then when they leave with the resources that should have been left within that community and used to strengthen the lives of those who live there. So now, how is all of this possible? Why have we allowed this to happen? The answer is complex. We can't answer that today. That's a whole separate speech. But it's something that has been done over generations. It's the years of conditioning and devaluing those that live in those communities and altering their consciousness. Because when you're repeatedly telling a people that they are lazy or unworthy and incapable, over time, some of them may start to believe that. It is when they finally are able to, and then when they finally are able to overcome that negative ingraining, then you have groups of people that will come in and destroy all of the hard work that they put in to develop what they've gotten. Your vision for change becomes blurred. But we can't allow this cycle to continue. The Black Power movement is all about reversing this. It's about reclaiming our consciousness, reaffirming our values, and taking pride in what we have and where we come from. It's about remembering that we are not the sum of what others say about us. We are the sum of our own history, our own resilience, and our own potential. And so you may ask, why Black women as we talk about women today? Black women have always been at the forefront of the struggle. They've been the providers, the caregivers, the protectors. They've cared for the homes and families of their oppressors, all while managing their own households. Throughout history, Black women have had to balance multiple roles, often under immense pressure. And so today, the majority of Black families are headed by women. These women are the backbone of our communities. They raise the children, they manage homes, and hold families together. Yet they do so while dealing with the constant stress about their appearance, the pressure to avoid being labeled an angry Black woman, the fight for respect in a world too often that sees them as invisible or inferior. In many cases, the angry Black woman is really just her warrior spirit being on display. Because the actions taken against our community and our presence are essentially an act of war against our community. So, and if these women are lucky enough to own their own businesses, they a lot of times face an entirely different challenge. They have to prove themselves constantly to defend against jealousy, the battle of altered consciousness, and those who should be supporting them. But women with these challenges, they continue to strive and to fight for their families and their communities and for the freedom of all Black people. This is where the African National Women's Organization comes in. ANWO is what how we say it for short, is working to build Black power that we need within our communities by supporting Black women, because when Black women rise, our entire community rises. And at this point, we're not asking for permission. We're just taking charge and doing what needs to be done.
Yes.
ANWO is addressing the unique challenges that Black women face within the communities where they live. So in St. Louis, where we're working hard to raise the awareness and generate the necessary funds to renovate one of the buildings that you saw in the film here about the Natural Bridge location, so that that can be a hub for women, and not just women, but the community as a whole, where they can come together, renew their spirits, to learn to harness the power of their warrior spirit, and to begin to work the work of liberation. The African National Women also host the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market to generate revenue for other businesses, local Black businesses or other businesses within the community, and raise awareness about different programs and activities that the community can get involved in. They also do a lot of other things within the community. They have hubs in other states. So once you join the ANWO location here in St. Louis, you have that community of women throughout the country. So as we continue the important work, we urge all of you to get involved. At any time, you can visit ANWO, ANWO, Uhuru.org, and donate at any time if you want to do it now or later. We encourage you to place your membership if you're a Black woman and want to get involved in changing your community. We have paper application. We can get you a paper application here today. You can go online and join. There are different levels of membership that you can get involved with here in St. Louis. But we need the bodies in order to get the work done.
Yeah.
We also encourage you to join us on March 29th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we will have hosting a virtual event called Liberation Lives. This event is a fundraiser. It's a membership drive. It'll be an award celebration and an opportunity for all of us to learn more about our vision for the African women here in St. Louis, the St. Louis area, as well as other projects that we have going on. So if you can, make sure you get in, visit our site, learn more about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm usually here on the Sundays. And in closing, I want to leave you with this. The fight for Black power is not just a fight for our communities. It's a fight for the future of our children, for the generations that will come after us. And it's a fight for Black women who have always led. We have always been the foundation upon which change is built, and with the right support, we can continue to be the leaders in the struggle for freedom and justice and equity. So I just want to thank you, and I hope to see more members coming up sometime soon.
One Africa, one nation. All right. Yeah, Africa. Eves were laid too. Well, thank you very kindly. We want to appreciate our comrade, African women who are on the front line. And you know, the work that they're doing is not just some willy-nilly type of work. That work that they're doing is a serious fight against colonialism. It's not work that they're fighting for and that they're organizing, that they're doing for some reformist gain or to get some particular legislation put in place and things of that nature. It's really taking power of the community and putting the power in the hands of the working class and leading by example. As you saw with the video, for example, building that center, that takes some serious work, that takes some serious energy, that takes some serious on the ground type of activity. And all that work does what? As we say, it negates the colonialism. So then we're putting power in our own hands. And it's given a great example of what African women do and what African women have been doing and do with inside of this particular formation, the Uhuru movement. So we want to give it up for the comrades once again and be of encouragement. And we know that some of the work, and even just to mention the work that has been done under the Black Power Blueprint under the leadership by an African woman. Who is that? Comrade Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela, who helped us to formulate this Aquaba Hall, this beautiful Aquaba Hall. And also under the leadership of an African woman, you see the basketball court put up. You see the fourplex for the in-prison people to be put up. You see the formation of the Women's Center. You see the formation of the doula program. So you see this, and you see African women, and it's also say African women must lead, but you see this work in a very tangible way. And what is this work doing? It's breaking down the walls of colonialism. It's putting the power in our own hands, in our control. The theme of the matter is that it's about control. And we know that we got a stellar example of a comrade right here. Our comrade, Jesse, how you say, he called it COS. And that's true. The chief of staff of the African People's Social Party, Comrade Akinge Malie, who has done so much work on the ground and in terms of being a leader and a leading force inside of the African movement and inside of the Uhuru movement. Much of the things that we do with our organization from a logistic standpoint, organizing it for the BIBC, Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparation. You know, Comrade Akinge is there. She's the one to give you those communications and say, you need to go here because this is the preferred lodge and all the other things that she does that we don't see inside the movement. The comrade is 24/7 for the movement. So I just want to recognize her as someone in the room, and we need to appreciate that work that she does as an African woman who does lead. So going forward with our program, comrades, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have, as usual, the call of resources and membership. And normally we have our comrade Fofi who comes up and works with us by me. She did what she did already today, so we'll go ahead and handle this ourselves. Okay. Okay, we got to follow. We got to catch up. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, then. So moving on forward to call for membership and resources. We know that the resources that we use, we always demonstrate that and show what it looks like in a real and tangible way. We use it for the Uhuru movement, and we use it for all the work that we need to do. So you can go to Cash App, $InPDUM, if you're using Cash App. You can also go to InPDUM.org/donate. Today we are going to have a modest goal to raise $100. And for those of you who are online, please do. You can also make sure that you follow this prompt. Go to InPDUM.org/donate, or if you need to use the Cash App, $InPDUM, and you can go there. So with that in mind, we will be passing the basket around inside the room. And for those of you online, you can donate. And we know that people have donated after they viewed it online. We've been having a great success with our online participation. We're reaching anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 people or more who view this page and they donate afterwards. So we continue to accept those donations, and funds do come in after the program has ended in terms of real time. But we do appreciate you for all that you do there. As we are going in the audience and collecting the resources, let's look at the membership for the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement. You have the George Jackson / Desi Wood level. That's a $5 annual membership. That is for those who are incarcerated behind the enemy lines in these concentration camps known as prisons. You also have the Musa Abantu level. That is the membership level. That is for students and unemployed. That is a basic $10 per year. A great level to be at. And we also say live like Musa. He is one of our martyrs inside of the Uhuru movement. He was a young brother too. Also, we have the basic membership right now is annually $25. That is $10, but generally that's what it is. So those are some of the basic levels. Next slide. What is it?
Yeah, just watch a video.
So before we show this is also some of the work that is going on the ground in occupied Azania. You know, we have a couple of branches in Azania, and this one I think is a reflection of one of the branches called Cozy in occupied South Africa. So one of the things that they have been doing under the banner of the Project Tutukani is they have been taking back the land and using it for productive reasoning. So we talk about bread, peace, and Black power. You look at the level of bread, and this is the level of feeding, and this is in a real way. This is tangible. This is something that's not just a theory, it's the action. So you see some of our comrades, and you can go ahead and roll it. You see our comrades in occupied Azania, South Africa. They're in a field. This land was wasteland thrown to them by the colonizers, and we took it and put it in our own hand. And you can see the lush vegetation that is growing there. There's corn, ears of corn, stalks of corn. This particular one of the comrades that you see here is a branch leader in occupied Azania, Comrade Zakeli. And you can continue to roll it. And you just see where they're transforming the land. And, you know, it had been considered derelict land. It had been considered barren land that the colonizer didn't want to use. Of course, it's also land that's located in the so-called shanty towns, so on the outskirts of the area. So this particular clip is one of the more recent activities that they're growing. You can see that they have little plots of land, and right now, as we speak, they have planted seedlings. So they will be growing rhubarb, they will be growing Swiss chard, and also onions, along with other vegetation to feed themselves in the community and the people in the community. This is under Project Tutukani. It's a nonprofit project, but it is a on-the-ground project. And these are what the resources are going to as well. So then when we raise the resources, they are for us to continue the work in a real and tangible way. And they also have volunteer projects as well in occupied Azania, doing the work for the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement. Uhuru. Okay. And this is just further slides of some of the work and contact information. So even though you're on this side of the pond, so to speak, you can donate to that side of the pond. Even though you're in the belly of the beast, you can donate to the motherland of all creation. So we want to thank you for that. Okay, you can move the slide next. Okay, now this time we have community discussion. So the comrades who you will be addressing a lot of the questions to, if you have any, will be for Comrade Fofi and also for Comrade Sophia for their respective organization. Yes, brother, did you have a?
Yeah.
Yes.
My membership has lapsed, and I need to renew it.
Well, that's true.
So, I'm not sure when you do that.
Okay, no problem. We got you. We got Comrade Sophia, who is our membership coordinator for the local branch to be in branch awaiting. So after this, you get with her. And once again, this is an African woman leading in a real tangible way. So there you go. Uhuru. So we have questions and answers for the particular at this particular time, rather. Any questions that we might have. And I know we have normally some discussion online and some questions and things of that nature. I do have a question to kind of kick it off. And this could come from, this could be answered by either Comrade Sophia and Comrade Fofita, both. Just asking the question, what made you as an African woman want to do something, to get involved into the movement? What was the catalyst for you? What did you see that helped change your mind from where you were years ago to where you are today? And since you're the closest, Conrad Fofi?
Okay. Well, I've said this to some people, but some may not. First of all, being a poet and a nurse, that put me in the category to help both ways. But when Mike Brown was murdered, Chairman came to St. Louis, and one of my cousins said that Chairman wanted to do a event at Legacy, and she said she needed some culture. So she knew if she needed some culture, I was there. Okay. And when I heard Chairman speak, he was answering questions that I've been having all my life, but nobody to bounce it off to get any answers. I wanted to know why Black people or African people were always in the worst part of the city. They were always filling the jail. They were always being beaten. Children were always hungry. You would have thought this was a third world country when we're supposed to be in the richest country in the world. But yet we have people starving and dying from diseases that was supposed to have been safe and save people. So those questions, I said, there's an education here I need to make. So I joined, actually, that night I think I joined, but when we had our first meeting here, putting the unit together, I told the Comrade Gaeta, she said, sister, are you going to join? I said, yes, I will join. And I financed the leadership of that organization at that time as a member, because I knew she was going to do the work. I said, don't call me, don't send me no emails, don't put my name on any information, because I will be a monetary support, but I would join. And at that time I was working for Uncle Sam. I was a nurse, not a military nurse. I worked at the VA. And I didn't know exactly how deep I wanted to get in, or how much I wanted to reveal who I was and what I was involved with, until I got more information. But it sounded good on top. And as I continued to learn and listen and become a part of different movements, it sounded good at the bottom too.
Yeah.
I started out in InPDUM. I became the first InPDUM president here in St. Louis of the organization. And from that, I joined the IEC as economic development. And as I grew and the organization moved and changed hands, I was during COVID, we were pulled together. People that was not in ABDAP were pulled together if they had a medical background or some medical information. We were pulled together to do something to save Black people, because Black people was dying. There was all different kinds of, okay, if you Black, you can't get COVID. If you got melanin, it won't bother you.
Yeah, right.
If you're a type C, a type blood type, it won't kill you. It won't hurt you. That was something we had to fix. So under the chairman's tutelage, and ABDAP's president, we formed we moved Black Unk to another level where we ended up with a COVID line and telehealth organization.
See what I'm saying?
So we go and we do what we have to do to save our people. You got the knowledge. It is not yours. It is skills brought to you to bring back to your people.
That's what it is.
Okay. You were one that was picked to do what you had to do to bring what you have back and share it. Okay. Put it in the pot, you know, and as you put it in the pot, you pull people, our people, out of the hard times that colonialism has put us into. In spoken word, I had to wait until I had to build it inside of myself to say what I had to say. See, 4 feet means I hear poetry with 2 feet on earth and 2 feet in spirit. So I had to find out what was happening with me here on earth and my job as a poet and pull it together with what I knew as a spiritual connection to the people that I'm born a part of. See, I got melanin and I want to make it free. And the one way to do that is by getting to the ears of people that love poetry and people that just don't know what poetry is, but just like the message. So it took me a minute to do poetry and political poetry because I had long time as a sensual poet. And because everybody love love.
What you said.
And you just got to put it in a package. I learned that was my training ground to put things in a package for a message that can be delivered and heard because you can hear it different kind of ways. But wherever you are, the level that you are, like in InPDUM, we come to you with the level of education and inspiration that you're on to become a part of this organization. And we've got ANWO, we've got ABDAP, Project Black we've got Black Power Blueprint, and that's just scratching the surface. Whatever you have to give, we are here to help you utilize it, not to use you or to use it, but to utilize it to help and uplift our people, our future, and our organization. Uhuru.
I smell people answer. I guess my question is, Donald Trump election, a lot of hectic things occurred. But we know before his election, the repeal of abortion, we know here in Missouri, I think they repealed a lot of Medicaid and Medicare. And we know that President Bush is trying to where he signed the executive order to disassemble the Department of Education. And we know that they fund head starts, and a few other things that Black people, Black mothers in general, benefit from. So I guess my question is to our sister Sophia, I'm sorry, is as a leader in our community, what say you? I know we always say things, but I don't think we never ask. But from your point of view, or from the women's point of view, what say you?
So when we look at what the different politicians do, they make laws that affect our lives in different ways. As it's always been, like the chairman always says, that the laws were never made for us in mind. And we've always found a way to live our lives and do what was needed. And I think, especially with the point of education, like I really love how Amos Wilson always says that education is supposed to provide you with the knowledge and skills that you need in order to provide your community education is supposed to solve your problems. That's the purpose of education. And the current state of our educational system, I was just listening to somebody the other day and they were so proud of themselves that they were able to teach somebody the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh boy.
But when you think about it, how does that improve the lives of the people in that community? So I'm not really upset about some of the changes with the educational system, but I do think we need to make sure that we're having a plan together on what does education look like for our community? How can we go ahead and put in those things, because we need to see what does our community need? Do we need more nurses? Do we need more certain things? And what education is needed in those different roles? So we need to kind of look at things like from that perspective. And those are things that we can do ourselves, whether it's people starting up homeschools within their homes and inviting other students in. There are so many different things that we can do, but we have to actually sit down, like under the leadership of the Uhuru movement. It always talks about you have to have a plan. So you need to plan these things out. What's needed in that community? Make a plan for it. We don't have to rely on the government to do certain things for us. We just continue to move forward with the plans that we have. Make our plan, move forward. If there are hurdles that we have to have, just like even with the bakery, they say no, but okay, we'll fight for it and continue to fight until you say yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And so so really, again, I know a lot of people are fearful or disturbed by a lot of the things that are going on, because I don't want to say that on here, but it just is what it is. We've always lived in a sense of uncertainty. And that's until, again, we reach the freedom that we're seeking. It's always going to be that way. So that's why we just continue to fight and keep just moving forward, regardless of what they have going on. And then to double back on the question that was asked previously about the purpose for us joining the movement, for me personally, I was one that had that altered consciousness, just thinking that hard work and all of these type of things made the difference in your life, and not really understanding why the situation for the Black community was always the same. When I was coming up, history, when I would hear about the sit-ins and different things like that, it just made no sense to me that I just shut down it, because the things that they always pushed on us, it made no sense, because I know me personally, if you don't want me in your establishment, I don't need to be there.
That's right.
So I didn't understand why that was so praised and raised up. And then it wasn't until I think during COVID where I had time to sit down and listen and come across a lot of other people that were speaking on behalf of the Black community and speaking more things that made sense to me, where it wasn't about trying to fit in and what do they call it, where we being included in their community. It was about developing our own. Yeah, but it wasn't. It was more about how we can develop Black power for ourselves. And that was one of the things that struck me. And then I ended up with this movement because I saw a lot of other organizations and, tried to support from afar. And I eventually got to the point where I said, no, I'm going to do something that's local so I can see and be a part of what's going on, not just the financial, and then sending money off to something and you really don't know what's going on and what's happening. So I said I needed to do something local, and I called around because I work with a couple of different organizations, that are doing things for the community and have some ideas and people who are looking to work to bring all of that type of stuff together as well. So that was the reason I got involved with it, was because the ones that were really out there talking about what needed to be done, we were not told about. So even like a lot of people, for my first time hearing about Yeshatella was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I had never heard that name before. I did not know who that person was. And then the fact that he's been around since the 50s, 60s, 70s, speaking the same messages that he's speaking today. They don't want us to know this. So being able to get that type of stuff out, learn it for myself first, and then being able to get it out to other people who need this, because a lot of people are walking around here with those altered consciousness. So that was why I got involved with it.
I want to step in and speak about Israel's question. The changes that are going on is affecting the medical system and the clinics that are in the inner cities where people can't get any assistance, or well, where they were put there for the inner city people. Mm-hmm. And some of them are having some issues. And I'm at one that is having issues. We've lost almost half of our staff because they're still trying to make payroll. So we have a great meeting coming up on April Fool's Day, and we hope we're not April Fools and being in the clique. So, but as being the daughter of an African woman that grew up on the farm, then I know how to make stuff happen. So there's always a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D to get what you need to do to put what you have to have on the table at home. So guess what? This is nothing new. This is nothing new. And like Chairman taught us, you know what? This just gives us an opportunity to get our own. We got the know-how. All we got to do is come together and make it happen. And with the babies, teach them. You teach them anyway. Take time and just teach them yourself what you want them to know. This is our turn. This is our time. And with every obstacle, the opportunity is right next to it. And we have the opportunity and the answer. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you. Sister Carol, come on up.
Yeah. I guess I should know the answer, but if somebody define the term belly of the beast.
You want to do it?
Oh, the sister's go ahead and do it.
Okay, you know me, I got a lot to say.
Don't say it now.
Sister Carol, for me, the explanation is being in the belly of the beast is the fact that I just told you the clinic that I'm in, that I work in, is low. It's in the area of the community where we don't have health care. And being in the belly of the beast is the healthcare is controlled by colonialism. And what they give us is a little bit here and a little bit there, and they can take it from us at any time. So being in the belly of the beast is that we are here depending on something that somebody is giving us to make a living instead of doing it ourselves. So we're in the belly of the beast of colonialism, where everything is controlled by somebody else.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So one interesting point was mentioned about the theorem that they said that this is why it's important for education to be true. You know, how you say the Pythagorean theorem, Pythagoras himself, being a Greek, was taught in the old Comedian schools that they call the ancient schools of Egypt. And so he went there for maybe 13 or 14 years out of his life. This is where he learned what the hypotenuse was, or how a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which is the theorem itself. But it may not mean nothing to anybody, but it's used, and it makes the connection between geometry and algebra. And of course, you can use those formulas when you are building schools and things like that, or if you're building any type of physical structure, or you can use it in engineering. So it does have a tangible reality. We just have to know it. But when he went back to Greece, interestingly enough, they kicked him out of the island and they put him on the island of Crete because he came back talking some mathematical stuff that they themselves weren't able to understand at that particular time. You understand a book called Stolen Legacy. So you have to read that book to get that understanding. Or you can look at even some of the things that one of the ancient Greek historians himself talked about, Herodotus, which I think is a pretty good one in terms of that. So just knowing that history and knowing where those theorems come from and knowing our knowledge, because you did allude to the fact that we had it in the past. The poem talked about it in the past, before Africa, and after Africa. All that's our knowledge. All that's what we developed. You understand? So we can't throw that away. You understand? With the bath water, throwing the baby out with the bath water, which is talk about education again. Where does that come from? Well, I know where it comes from. But, it's a shame that even that came about, because back in the day, poor white people took a bath once a week. So at the end of the bath, everybody in the house taking the water was so filled up with muddy water that they say, well, don't throw the baby out with the bath water, because you never know. Everybody got to take a bath in the same water. And that's where it comes from. But that's history too. So when we talk about the education of our people, we got to understand that be careful that we don't throw the bath water out with the baby without the bath water. You understand?
Right. No, I get that.
You get what I'm telling you. I know your point, but at that age, no doubt. Yeah.
In the middle school, what do you need? What is that going to benefit your life? When you go into engineering and those fields,
Well,
yes, you can learn it then.
Yeah.
Because one of the other things that I see that is done a lot of times is
Oh,
the
wait a
fact
minute. Yeah, you
that
should probably be up here talking.
one of the things that I see that they do a lot of times with education, for me personally, is they overcomplicate it to weed out people, as opposed to making it simple for everybody. Because just imagine, you look at a lot of the structures that they have back in Egypt, and they're still trying to figure out how some of that stuff was done.
Dumbfounded.
Had they had the mindset of let's destroy and try to reclaim it for ourselves, or say that we did this, had they had the mindset of just like how the Egyptians did, they would teach other people the information that they knew. And if we had that same type of mindset, as opposed to destroying what other people have built or destroying what they know or anything like that, and sharing the knowledge, just imagine where this world could be right now, as opposed to trying to destroy all of that. And overcomplicating it makes it, again, like I say, they try to weed out people and make it to where it's just for the exclusive people. Now, I don't doubt that there's a way that they simplify for certain people if you can afford it, if you're in the right circumstances. So that's the only thing I'm saying with that. Not to say that it's not necessary, but again, when you look at it, because you think about young children in the 7th grade, already they watch the news with their parents, or they overhear certain things talking about how their educational system that they're stuck in is so poor. By the time they finish high school, they'll only be able to read on the 8th grade level, and they're supposed to leave and feel positive about themselves over stuff like that, and then have to figure out this math is hard because they're using these terms. When will I ever use this? As opposed to, I want to go into this area. I enjoy these things. What are the things I need to know to do this? Our community needs these things, because they talk about how Black people, especially women, are poor at math skills. I've come across plenty of women that were in the streets and could count money faster than a bank teller. Yep. You look at how the men, when they talk about whether it's liquor, whether it's drugs or anything, they can cut things up into grams, ounces, whatever, quarts, pints, all of that type of stuff. So we know that stuff when it makes sense to us. So why is the educational system not made in a way to where it makes sense to you? Then you want that knowledge. Yes, you want to learn the history of it because then you want it even more if you know that your lineage has something to do with it, but just making it simple to where you want the knowledge because you feel it makes you proud of yourself. But for some reason, I don't understand the mindset of the people that think that we want to hold a special knowledge and withhold it from other people, as opposed to making the world even greater by sharing the knowledge, because that one that you don't have that confidence in could be that one that rises above all and creates things that humanity can really, really benefit from. So
You probably this is my man, if you're honest. If I could just chime in for a second. Number one, I like this discussion, and this is one of the things that Sherman was talking about for a minute for us to have a meaty discussion. But that being said, I like what was said on the stage. Number one, I just want to pick a few things out. I like how you talk about Herodotus. It's another scholar, protege, if you will. They all speak of Africa, how life started with Africa. There was an old debate on this thing called information. Did it come from the ancient Greeks, the Egyptians, etc.? You know what I'm talking about? But if you someone that love history, then you know that it contains most the wheels, the males, etc. came from Sumerians. Now, Sumerians, we know there was black. But at that time, then soon after, we know Egyptians. You know what I'm talking about, the hieroglyphs. But that being said, history and knowledge, I mean, that is one of the most precious jewels out there that folks don't care about. You know it's precious when the slave masters said it was cancer and we killed a slave if he knew anything, not just read. But that being said, it's unfortunate because we know that history, we know knowledge, we know these things. It started, like I said, on the continent of Africa or surrounding areas, Sumerians. It started with us. When you had my man, I can't think of a name, but that started the Alexander, that started the Library of Alexander. Now, what did he do?
Destroyed it.
Well, Great Fire destroyed the building, but make a long story short, he sent out for all of ancient books. Now, a lot of folks try to say throughout the world, but from what I seen, and I'm not saying I'm the smartest man in the man, but what I seen, it said that he sent for all the ancient books throughout Africa. And some folks might translate that Africa throughout the world. But that being said, it was unfortunate that that move was made because that great the Great Fire in the Library of Alexandria destroyed a lot of history. Over the times, over the decades and centuries, a lot of this history was digged up, buried. But that being said, that's our history. This our history. It is unfortunate, back to your statement, that we have this prison to pipeline thing, institution called school. It's unfortunate if they either teaching us two things, either teaching us how to end up in this prison industrial complex, number one, or they're teaching us to be great good slaves / employees. You know what I'm talking about? So it's easy for our generation that for many years they blocked us from knowing art information, and then they whitewashed it. You know what I'm talking about? So and then they gaslight us. So after a while, they be looking at art history as if it's your curriculum in y'all schools. We look at the Bible as if it's the white man religion. I mean, because how they take everything that they put their hands in, we tend to reject it. We tend to reject it. So it's unfortunate how, like, it's back to your point, how they got this school set up for us to reject this president pipeline thing, for us to reject being a token nigga. No, I want to have my own business to help contribute to generational wealth, to help contribute to the uplifting of our community. That being said, and I guess I'll leave it with her. Back to your statement, to this educational system. We gotta either do homeschooling or build charter schools or invest in our own private school. But we gotta be able to take this thing back and be able to educate our people and bring up our people in the way they should go. And that's liberation for our people.
That's what it's about. Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly for that discussion. Pretty lively, informative discussion, I might say. You know, so we're going to go ahead and move forward, getting close to the end of our program here today. So thus far, in terms of the resources that we were able to raise, we made our goal of $100. So Uhuru, thank you, everyone. Thank you for online and thank you for inside of the hall here at Aquaba Hall. And next up, we have some announcements that we want to go through. And these are the announcements, not the whole announcements, but these are some of the announcements, immediate announcements of the Uhuru movement. So first, of course, we got coming up, this is something that is also led by African women. Once again, you talk about the One Africa, One Nation farmer market. And this year we'll be kicking off. This is about the third or fourth year, I think. Maybe it's the fourth year. How many years? This is the fifth year for the market. And so that's been a great thing. So on the board, we have some dates. Now, did anyone want to mention anything different who's representing the market today? They might want to have something to say about that.
Booth registrations open April 15th.
Booth registration open April 15th.
So you want to make sure if you have a business or any services that you have to offer to the community, that you go ahead because they're affordable. I think you even get a discount if you purchase all 5.
You want to come up and make that clear so everybody can hear you. And we're going to rebap with this particular announcement because you wouldn't have heard from the audience.
So yeah, we have the market here where we are able to highlight the services for this community that are needed. So if you have businesses or items for sale or anything that you want to highlight, I recommend you get a booth at the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market, because not only does it help the community, it also, you're putting money back into your community, but it gives exposure to your organization, to the people that reside within a community, so that you kind of reach out to those that have that need and connect with those. You do get a discount if you purchase all 5 of the markets up front. And we just ask that you register early because it's something we're trying to do for ourselves, self-determination. So if you can be a part of that, we just ask you to be a part of it. I know there are a lot of other markets that are going on out there, and it's okay to be a part of several of them. A lot of times people vend at different ones, and we're just asking for your support here as well.
What's the next slide?
That's going to be the...
That one.
Okay, and then as I talked about during my conversation, the Liberation Lives Gala is going to be online. You can go to tinyurl.com/ANWOGALA to make your donations. But we are looking to raise money during this event to complete the rehab for the facility over there off of Natural Bridge. It will be an award ceremony. We're looking to have a fun time to provide entertainment and different things like that. So you can just log on. And like I always said, you can always go to annualuhuru.org to donate today. But we also want you to be a part of this gala as well. So just log on or sign up today at the tinyurl.com/annual gala to get the notification when we go live. So make sure you're logging on to that. We look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. And this is just calling for volunteers to help with the community garden. And that's the upcoming garden. That's for this year. Garden, you will have the workshop, the garden workshops, and the dates are listed. You can join the team. They will be Saturdays at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. starting April the 5th. You have them 4 times, April the 5th, April the 19th, May 10th, and May 24th. You can sign up by going to blackpowerblueprint.org/volunteer, or you could call and get more information at 314-380-8016. Moving the slide. Anyone from NINA want to come up and mention this? Talk a little bit about this neighborhood, Northside Independent Association. Sure.
Uhuru, my name is Maureen, and I'm the director of Uhuru Foods and Pies under Deputy Chair Onizanae Chatella's leadership and a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee. So NINA is the North Side Independent Neighborhood Association. The president is Christopher Gladney, also known as Sally Moyenda. This will be the 3rd meeting, and it's really growing. There'll be at least 5 special speakers at this week's meeting, including the 2 candidates who are running for Ward 11. Is it Ward 11? Yes. Yeah, no, it's Laura Keys and Rebecca McLeod will be there. And then also 3 representatives of other neighborhood organizations who want to collaborate, which is a big mission of NINA, which is to break down the borders that separate the Black community of North St. Louis. Open to everybody. And yeah, so there's that. Then the next slide is, thank you, is Uhuru Foods and Pies, and 2 things. Uhuru Foods and Pies will be having its first food booth in St. Louis at the Earth Day Festival in Forest Park on April 26th and 27th with a 100% vegan menu. So we are giving people the opportunity to set up and help sell there and cook and everything. We need people, at least 6 people per shift. So it'll be really fun, and we'll also be able to put out the mission of Black Star Industries. We are also hoping that we will have the permit for the bakery in our hands in the next couple of days. We have good reason to believe that'll be happening. We hope to be able to show pictures of President Onizanae holding it on Tuesday night at the rally. Don't want to jinx it. I mean, at the NINA event, but we really think it will be happening. We're also Paul Kessler came last year to build the cabinets, and Sally is coordinating the completion of those cabinets. They're at the Uhuru Solidarity Center. There's a whole punch list that Paul did, but people can volunteer, and he's going to be doing weekday work days, and people can come and help with that. But if you have any time on a weekend or other times to work with Sally, that'd be really good. We want to get these done and out of the way while the contractors are doing the plumbing, the electrical, the concrete laying, and we are interviewing people right now and are beginning to understand how it's all going to come about, thanks to the contractors. So is anybody interested in staffing Earth Day with the Uhuru Foods and Pies? April 26th and 27th, and we'll be in the kitchen. Allison, okay, thank you. We'll be in the kitchen a week before too, preparing vegan jerk and our Jamaica and our ginger beer and vegan coleslaw and vegan potato salad and vegan sweet potato pies. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you. All right, Maureen. So our next slide. So the next announcement is Black is Back Coalition, the 9th annual electoral campaign school. The theme for the year is the ballot and the bullet. Not one day, not one dime, no compromise, no surrender. That's April 12th through the 13th of this year. It'll be here at the Quabbin Hall, 4101 West Florissant, here in St. Louis at 63115. So you can also register at the blackisbackcoalition.org. You can go to that website and start registering now. And you still have time also to get the preferred housing at Wingate Wyndham STL St. Louis Airport. So make sure that you try to get that as soon as possible. Next slide. The Burning Spear newspaper. You can order your Burning Spear newspapers right now today. You can go to the burningspear.store or subscribe at the burningspear.com/subscribe. And the next slide. Okay, so weekly we have every Thursday, we have the Revolutionary National Democratic Program study. It's virtual online. It's from 7 o'clock. It starts at 7 p.m. Central. It's on Zoom, and you can also catch it on Facebook. But you can register on Zoom for this one at tinyurl.com/RNDP studies. They are always good, and they're led by the international president of the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, Matamela Odom. And also, don't forget to go to the InPDUM.big cartel, where you can pick up your merchandise from the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement page, and all the resources go to support the movement in a variety of ways. And right now, you can, not on this screen, but there's a special rate for some party buttons there, so you can go get the little buttons that have the red, black, and green, and the black star centered in the middle. These are sweatshirts. You have t-shirts. You have hoodies that you can get. You can get you a nice coffee mug or tea mug and get your Uhuru swag on. All right. Thank you kindly for that one. And of course, the last slide is how you can help build the Sunday rallies. You could build the Sunday rallies with the organization of Caramel, which is the food. You could join an AV team, audio visual. You can help us pass out information flyers. You can also help us do phone banking, where you can call from our contact list to invite people out. And you also can help with security, as just 4 of the areas that you can help build these Sunday rallies. Not just those, but there are other activities that we can use as well. So I want to thank you. And I want to give a special recognition and appreciate our technician, Comrade Kabula, for helping us each and every Sunday with the virtual presentation of these slides. So we will be back next week. We're located at 4101 West Florissant. We're on the corner of West Florissant and Alice. We start at 3 to 5 p.m. where we have the Sunday rallies. And next week, we will continue to our discussion with the African women, but also African women, particularly here on the ground, and building up for the BIBC, that is the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparation. Once again, thank you, everybody. Uhuru.